It's me, Normal Cory. I'm here in Seattle, Washington, and I'm just making a video today where I am walking to a garden in my neighborhood, and I've been checking out a lot of videos with that vlogging style, and my goal is to make a beat with my MPC. Check that out, that's pretty. My goal is to make a beat with my MPC in the garden, and I wanted to just show you all a little bit about automation. So if you like these videos I've been doing, talking about my MPC and making music outside, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. If you're having issues and you want to make music, electronic music outside, you want to make music with your MPC live too outside, feel free, click the link below. I have a link to my Google Meet. We can meet up and we can consult with each other, and I can give you a lot of help. So I'm out here and the weather might not be my friend. The one thing, if you're making music outside, it's really important to always be checking your weather. So the weather says that it's not gonna rain. It's about to be golden hour. It's a little bit dark, but it feels a little misty, and it was raining a couple minutes earlier. So either way, I get to go on this nice little walk and talk. So yeah, I thought that doing this vlogging style and walking around would be really cool, and just an intimate look of the way that, you know, prove that I'm a real life human and I'm out here making beats outside. Luckily, everything I have fits in this bag. Today we've got my MPC Live 2. We've got the wires to plug that MPC Live 2 into my DJI lav mic, which there's two mics. One of them I like to wear like this. I think the audio quality is relatively high. And then the other mic, I didn't know this when I bought it. I just wanted to get the lav mic for making videos here and also making videos at the coffee shop, making funny videos. But as it turns out, the microphone, it has the ability to plug the out from my MPC Live 2 in directly. And the really cool thing about that is that I can get the high quality audio of my voice right here, and then I can get that high quality sound from the MPC, and that's really great for making all sorts of music videos and making music outside, because I would say the number one thing that really frustrates me as an electronic music artist and a content creator is the constant matching and the constant taking content and having to match it up. So, you know, you can use your iPhone, and over time the audio has gotten a lot higher. Apologies, I'm on a hill right here. Pretty steep hills up here in Queen Anne. Steepest hill in Seattle. But in the past, you know, it would be a struggle of, okay, well, now I got this high quality audio from my microphone, but now I needed to take it in my editing software and I have to sync it up with the video, which that's one of those things that if I'm watching younger artists and I'm watching other content creators, that's one thing that really turns me off, is if I'm checking out their video and you can tell that the audio and the video isn't perfectly in sync. It just kind of screws with your brain. So whenever I was doing that, I would do a nice little clap. So you do a little clap and it makes it easier to sync up. But what's easier than putting it into the software and sync up is just to have it all in one file. And I'll say one thing that I really struggle with making videos, I've actually been editing these videos in my iPhone mainly. I'm wanting to really push out a lot of content. I do want it to be quality, but I find that AirDrop isn't always as reliable as I need it to be. And what ends up happening is that, you know, I'm sitting there for an hour, and there's other things I can do, but it'll take a really long time for me to get my files to even load in, the video files. And that might have to do with the computer, and there might be other ways like Dropbox and all sorts of ways that I can just get that content more easily transferred between different sources. But yeah, if I have all of this high quality audio just going directly in the phone, it just takes a process. And I'll say, if you're someone who's making music outside, and if you're trying to record yourself making music outside, you really want to eliminate bottlenecks. Anything that just makes things more simple is just your best. It's just the best thing, because you want to make something that's quality, but you also, we don't have all the time in the world, and if you're working a full-time job and you're trying to make content, it's just not very easy. All right, so I'm going to continue talking about music, but we're about to come up across this really, really beautiful spot here in Seattle. We had a doggy that's kind of going crazy. Let's just do a little walk like this, then we can check out. Oh yeah. You see there, that's Gasworks Park. Yeah, I'm really grateful to be where I am. Okay, so yeah, I was just talking about how whenever I'm making music, I'm really appreciative of my DJI mic. And one thing that happened last week, I went on a bike trip up to Fidalgo Bay, and I actually broke my DJI mic. It has a USB plug that goes directly into the iPhone, and the wind blew and it broke the DJI mic, which I didn't have for a second. But that video that I made, it was a pretty popular video, and it was still really high quality. So, I would just say, if you're trying to make music outside, there are these tools that can help you, but just get out there and do it, If you're passionate about it, just pursue that passion. Don't let the things that you have get in the way of what your passion is, because it isn't these tools, it isn't these devices that are gonna, allow us to keep doing what we do. It's the actual passion that we have. So that was something that I learned by breaking my DJI mic, is how grateful I am for it. And another workaround was the DJI mic, it also has a lightning converter. So I had my old iPhone, and I was able to plug it into the lightning converter, which is pretty cool, because then I could get two angles, because I have been doing one iPhone facing me and then one iPhone directly above the MPC. So that also goes to say that if you don't have these tools, there are workarounds, there are ways. So yeah, if you're someone who's making music, you're making videos, I think our biggest issue is bottlenecks, because for me, I have a full-time job, and I'm just trying to do things as quickly as I can. I like making these videos in kind of like a one-shot take. I know that there's ways to edit it better, and as I grow in the future, I do enjoy editing, and I would like to get better and improve at that. But I also like that idea of it being a conversation, and there's a lot of content creators that I watch that I actually really appreciate that conversational style. All right, and the thing about walking is it just gets you talking. And I'm just about to this garden that I'm going to, so I gotta kind of get my act together as far as what I'm talking about. So my goal today was to talk to you about automation with the MPC Live 2. And within that regard, automation with all the MPC 3.0 software. My favorite thing about MPC, honestly, is that every device that you're gonna get from the MPC, it's all gonna use the MPC software. It's also a free digital audio workstation. So if you're someone, you don't have a lot of money, you have interest in making beats, I would highly suggest you download that free MPC Beat software. But the cool thing about that is that making music, there's companies that are great, like Electron, great company, makes amazing, incredible devices, amazing gear. I absolutely love my Octatrack. Stay tuned, gonna post more videos about that, plug it in my MPC. But the big issue that I have with my Octatrack, the big issue I have with Electron is that you have all these different devices and they all use different, they're all different, you know? So you learn one device and it doesn't mean that you're gonna know another device. You have to learn the whole new thing, and updates on one device don't work on the other devices. But that's my favorite thing about MPC, is that they're constantly working and they're constantly creating updates, and those updates apply to all of the devices. You know, you definitely have different physical characteristics of each device, different positives and different negatives. But you know, the MPC X, which I would say is their most expensive device, which I have one at home in my studio, it's a little bit physically different than my MPC Live 2, but everything I learn on there is gonna work on the MPC X and the MPC Live 2. They're gonna work with each other perfectly. And that's why I love it. And that's why I bought an MPC X, even though I had an MPC Live 2, because I just love the experience so much. And I was like, let me just give Akai Pro all my money, because I love what they're doing so much. So yeah, that brings us to today. We're almost here to the garden. I just like talking so much. But the MPC and automation. Now, automation as a discussion topic can be kind of complex. And as with all these things regarding music, I think I heard somebody say something interesting. They were basically talking about how, you know, all of the creativity, all of the thoughtfulness, all the consideration, it does nothing in comparison to action as far as understanding what's going on. So when I'm gonna talk about automation, I'm gonna break things down theoretically. And I'm gonna say, if you're a musician and you're an electronic musician and you're mixing and you're using these modern pieces of gear, personally, I'm not a coder. I don't have a history in coding. I have taken classes on coding now after making music, because I was like, wow, this stuff really seems like coding. So automation is essentially like coding, and you would think that maybe that makes things more difficult. All right, just gonna take a pause. We're here at the beautiful garden. Okay, so I'm gonna keep talking for a second as I find the spot with which I would like to make a beat for y'all. I like this central spot. So, talking about automation, automation makes things simple for us. And the video that I made yesterday, which was about, oh, little bunny, can we see it? Oh, there's a bunny, I think it hid. The cool thing about automation is that automation is going to make our lives simpler as an electronic musician. Automation, when we're talking about full song creation, there's variations that you want to make in the song. Yesterday I was talking about track mutes, and essentially the grand finale of that whole video was basically discussing how you can automate your track mutes to create full live songs. But yeah, now that I'm here at the garden, I'm gonna set up my gear and I'll be back in a second. Good thing about my gear, it's pretty light and mobile. If it starts raining, I can put things away. So as I was saying earlier, ooh, we got a seaplane behind us. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, like the video. Thank you so much for checking out what I'm doing. If you're interested in making music, trying to record yourself with videos outside, please, down linking below, we have a link to a Google Meet that we can do, and I can consult with you and help you set things up. I am feeling a little bit of rain. Uh-oh. All right, so this might be kind of proof of what you have to do. If the whole idea doesn't work out, I was able to walk here. I was able to talk about automation a little bit. Let's go ahead and cover my MPC up. It is that Seattle weather where it just feels like a little bit of a mist. I don't want to put everything away quite yet, but that might be what I have to do here. And at the worst case, if that doesn't work out, you know, I can show you automation back in the studio. I think we can walk with my camera. I'm not worried about things getting shut down. Okay, so that might have been just a close call. I felt that coming. You see we got a little bit of moisture on the screen. One thing that I should have brought was a towel, but I think we should be okay for now. So let's try to do automation as quickly as we can, just so I can show you. So I got this drum synth pulled up. Let's turn that up. So let's go into the drum synth and let's just play something really quick. Let's do overdub. All right, so today we're talking about automation. And whenever I was doing a live stream on Instagram, somebody told me a really cool idea, which was to change the pitch of the kick. And the only way that I was able to do that was with automation. So let's click on this pencil here. So we click on the pencil and we're gonna double the length. Now we're in the default drums, that's cool, it might rain. Let's do everything as quickly as we can. I'm gonna go to menu, I'm gonna press track edit. Now we are in the drums. So each is the different sound here. So if we go to drum synth 1, right here we have the tune. And we can hear the different pitches like that. Let's see if we got different. Oh, wow. So we click here, go to 90, go back to the tune. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna record this automation. So let's see if I can do this right. So if we go to main, we click this green button right here, and you know this green button is gonna work when it's red. So another thing we can do is press Shift Step Sequencer, that's gonna turn that green too. So it's the same exact button. One great thing about making beats is that you can do multiple things multiple ways, and that's really confusing when you're new, but I guess there's situations where that might help you. Okay, so we're gonna go back in here. Let's see if this works. I think this is gonna work. So we're gonna press play, even without pressing overdub. And we're gonna just start affecting this. See, so now, if we look here, it looks like the tune is actually being played. So let's turn that automation off. So that's actually really important to note that whenever you are doing this, you need to be really mindful about turning the automation on and off, because you can get yourself in a pretty bad situation if you go in and you do something you didn't want to do. Now, let me see really quickly if I can show you a way that if you don't like what you did, because you might set up the automation, you're like, okay, that's actually terrible, and I didn't want that there. So let's press on the pencil tool here, and let's go to erase, and then let's click on automation. So we have the different parameters, and right now it shows us tune. That might get more confusing if you have more, but let's press do it, and let's go back in here. Look, that tune is off. That's great. Now we can go in and we can do something different. Uh-oh, my battery's running a little bit low. Should have charged it before I came. Another important thing when you're making beats outside. So let's go right here and we're gonna press automation back on, and we're gonna go into the track edit, and we're on the kick. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna record this again. And we're gonna do some other automations too. And let's mess with the decay too. See, so now it's playing both of these as it's going around on that 4-bar loop. So let's go over to the snare. And I think the decay will sound cool on the snare. So I just leave it where a place I like. That actually sounds pretty cool. I want to mess with the tune. I'm not going to do the tune as much though. Okay, so I got to go here. All right. So that sounds kind of crazy. So let's record some more drums in, but before we do, let's turn the automation off. I'm gonna add a clap too. And let's go in and let's mess with the automation of the clap, which is gonna be on pad 5. So let's go to, uh-oh, my battery's running low. Gotta be quick about this. That's great. I'm already talking about automation though, which is great. So I think room is what we need to affect. Maybe room length. Okay, yeah, that sounds cool to me. So now we're gonna turn that automation off again. We're gonna press Shift, Note, Repeat, and now we're gonna go on to the hi-hat. We're gonna switch things up. Oh, I didn't record that, so let's do this again. You should do it on the one, but sometimes I don't. All right, so that sounds pretty cool to me. I want to turn the tempo down a little bit. Cool thing about MIDI is you can change the tempo whenever you want. So 115 sounds good to me. But now, let's turn the note repeat off. Let's turn the automation back on. Let's go in here. Let's go to number 3, because that's the hat. Let's change the tune of the hat. So I'm messing with the decay and the hold. All right, so now we've taken something that was pretty basic and we've turned it into something really, really cool. So that's a really basic drum pad and we've turned it into something pretty big and pretty different. So that's the basics of, that's automation if you're doing a MIDI drum. But what we could do is, let's go in and let's do a synthesizer itself. You can also do automation on the samplers and you can also do automation on the effects. I apologize, there's a pretty loud plane going overhead. One of the things about making music outside. Okay, so we're gonna go into our bass plugin and let's go to Sub Factory. And let's press on, let's do synth and let's do 303 because 303s sound pretty good with automation on there. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna take, I think I'm gonna do the key of E pentatonic minor. Okay, so let's go in and let's try to get like an arpeggiated sounding bass. So if we go here to Shift Note Repeat, we can click on ARP and we could do a pattern. And let's go in. So this is how you would play just different patterns. So let's try. So I'm turning the overdrive up. Okay, that sounds good to me. So let's go here. Okay, so let's press undo because that last part sounded really bad to me. So let's do this again. Okay, so I think I gotta give up on the 30-second. I think it's all gonna sound bad. So let's press undo. Okay, cool. So the cool thing about that specific noise is that it has that arpeggiated feel. So let's go here, let's double the length And let's go all the way out to 16 bars, and then we can show the effect of what we're gonna do for this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in, and we're gonna go to menu, and we're gonna go to track edit. Now the thing is, what you're gonna realize is track edit is really important if you're doing the VST plugins for doing automation. So let's go here. This is the low cut. Oh, that's for the chorus. So that's for the effects. Let's go to main filter, and let's see. Okay, so cutoff is here. So that'll give us that rising feel. So let's go back to main. Let's go here. I guess that's the good thing about doing shift automation, is that even if I'm in there, I could turn that on and off. But we know that that's on. So let's see if this works without pressing overdub. Because sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I think it should work without it though. Okay, so that didn't work because I actually have to press the overdub. But that's okay. That was a nice time for me to test. In a way, we're learning together. Well, those birdies sound really lovely. I gotta sample these birdies. Okay, so let's do this again, but this time let's press overdub with the automation. That's kind of annoying. Wait, let's see if, yeah, the automation's on. That's kind of annoying. Let's do it. Okay, so that time, it all worked. But the automation that I did on the last one worked too. So, I don't know exactly what's going on there. But I do know if you press overdub plus automation, it's gonna work. So I turned the automation off. So now we have a cool 16 bars. That sounds really good. Maybe let's just add 2 elements before we wrap this video up, just because I'm having fun and this sounds good to me. So the first one we're gonna do is we're gonna go into hype, and we're gonna do a piano. The really great thing about automation and when you're doing high pass or low pass is it gives the beat that feeling of it rising. I remember when I was first listening to electronic beats, I was like, why does this beat, it's so simple, but it feels like it's rising. And I think a lot of that has to do with automating your low pass and your high pass. So I really like the sounds on here. So let's go to ambient. That sounds pretty good to me. So let's do a chord. Let's go in, let's lower the volume just a touch. Let's see how this sounds. All right, that sounds good enough for me to start recording. All right, so that sounds pretty great to me. You can also see my batteries running low. A little embarrassing, but it is what it is. I'm gonna finish this up and I'm gonna save this. Well, let's actually go in. We already have some cool elements. I don't wanna lose this. So we're gonna say 1:15 EM, and we're gonna say garden walk. Okay, so that took a second, but the thing is that now we have everything saved, so I'm not gonna lose everything. Save your stuff as much as you can. I was like, oh, I'm gonna say this after. Now I have 40% battery. What am I doing? Okay, so we're gonna go in here and we're gonna turn the automation on. We're gonna go back to track edit. I really like hype because the cutoff is really simple. So we're gonna go here and before we press overdub, let's go shift, step sequencer, we turned it off. So let's just test this once. So we're gonna do shift, step sequencer on. See, is it on? Yeah, it's on. So then we're gonna go in here and let's just see if this works just as an experiment with just the, that on. Okay, so let's go back in, let's turn that automation off. Let's go back and check. Okay, so I was wrong. I'm not sure what happened earlier, maybe because I hadn't turned the automation off yet, but you can just press the automation for this in order for it to work. Okay, so we're gonna go in here, and we're gonna press erase, and we're gonna just say automation. We can just say all, because that's the only automation on this track. So we're gonna go in here. Let's try this. I'm learning as I go. So I press shift on. I know that it's on. Let's put this down and let's just start. And one thing I had a friend tell me is don't ever over cut on the pass. Once you learn this trick, you're gonna be doing it all the time, but don't overcut it. Wow, that feels really great. So shift, step sequencer off. So we go back in, and there we have that it's off. So we're just gonna do, we might do 2 more things, but let's at least do this one. If it dies, we're gonna press save again. Gonna save everything because this is making me really happy. Okay, so we're gonna go in and we're gonna add a new track. And this time we're gonna do the OPX. I think that the hype has the best sounding pads on the MPC, but I also really like the sounds of the pads on the OPX. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and we're gonna change the chord. See, this is 135, but we're gonna change it to 137. And that's gonna give it, ooh. Let's see how this sounds. I thought there might be something there. I don't think there is. Okay, I think there actually is something with the new pad. So we're gonna go with that. And this time I'm gonna try something different because I need to save time. So we're gonna turn the automation on and let's see if this works. While we're in the track, let's see, let's go here. Okay, this one's the filter. So let's go here. It's the low pass. And I think it's this one. Let's try this one. Okay, so that sounds pretty cool. Let's go ahead and record this because we're getting a little bit more rain. Okay, let's try it again. Menu, and we have this on. All right, so that automation worked. I played it as I went to save time. So we're gonna save this again. And we're just gonna do one more thing. We're getting a little bit more rain, but it's just a touch. We're here in Seattle, it's gonna be okay. So let's go back into the OPX4, which I think sounds really good. And let's just play a lead. Let's just play a lead and then we're done with this beat. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the automation off and let's go in. Well, let's keep the automation on and let's go in and let's see if there's any cool effects in this one. So we have here, let's go to the main, these are the main effects. And so if we press shift and back, shift Q link is gonna take us back. Okay, so let's record this really quick. It's starting to rain a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this, and I gotta put my gear away. I gotta put my gear away, but I wanna keep talking to y'all, so let's pause. It's starting to rain. Uh-oh. All right, there you have it. I'm getting rained on, but I made a beat. I was able to put my beat pad away in time. Luckily, I have this waterproof bag. So what did we learn? We learned about automation. It can seem kind of complicated, but in its most simplest sense, I think automation can take a really basic loop and it can make things really interesting. Automation can also be limited to 2 bars. It could be stretched out to the entirety of the song. The MPC is very well equipped to go in and delete those individual automations. So if you're new to it, it might be really confusing. It's actually pretty simple. You basically have a computer within your box, and it's already started raining. Pretty classic Seattle. So yeah, this is just an example of me making beats outside every single day. So if you're someone that you like making beats too, feel free to reach out to me. I love what I do. In the link below, I set up a Google Meet if you want to do a consultation, a little learning session with me. I can help show you the knowledge that I've learned and help you speed up your process of making music with the MPC Live too. And if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Wow, thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all.